Hi and good afternoon. My name is Lathika Pai, and with us today we have the founder and CEO of Docturnal, Mr. Rahul Pathri. Rahul, great to have us with us today. And for our viewers, Docturnal is a non-invasive screening and detection of infectious diseases like tuberculosis and COVID-19. Rahul, I've been fascinated with what Doctrinal does since we first spoke. Tell us more about why you started Doctrinal and what are some of the early signs in terms of what you're seeing as adoption of the technology that Doctrinal has built.
Good afternoon, Lathika. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And our initial driver to start Doctrinal was sometime in 2015 when we thought when we heard cough sounds of infectious friends, family, and relatives. There was something unique about the cough characteristics. So that's when we thought, why not use technology to kind of identify and screen for these diseases. And most importantly, at that point in time, we applied for Grant Challenges India, hosted by the Gates Foundation, and we were invited to present our study. So that was the starting point for us.
Great. Rahul, today you have close to, between 7 to 10,000 patients who have leveraged the technology that you have built. Tell us more about how you've managed to actually get this technology adopted, especially at the grassroots level.
Yes, so being a machine learning and a data science company, there was a lot of dependency on the data itself. So early on we partnered with World Vision, a couple of NGO organizations, and as we started collecting the data, we saw some sort of excitement from the subjects, typically base of pyramid folks who were more than happy to cough onto a sophisticated microphone array. And yes, that was the data harvesting story. And we saw that the curiosity was driving a lot of attention, and we leveraged the situation.
What has been the, this is really for prevention and, screening and detection of these infectious diseases early, right? So in the case of tuberculosis, what do you believe, the adoption of Docturnal has led to in terms of public health?
Yeah, that's a great question and a very valid question as of today, because if you look at tuberculosis, typically the subject or the suspect has to draw sputum. It's a cumbersome process, whether it's adult or geriatric population or even pediatrics. While we do not support pediatrics, from an adult perspective, this whole sputum transportation, drawing sputum, most of the times it's saliva, which gives incorrect results with the gold standard molecular diagnostic test. So by analyzing the cough signature, the time is reduced, the cumbersomeness is reduced. It doesn't overwhelm the subject. There is no stigmatic, there's a lot of stigma associated with getting sputum and all of that stuff. So that is kind of circumvented, and that is what we call as point of care and non-invasive in nature as far as what a solution can offer.
Wow, that's really, really phenomenal. I also see the fact that as a result of using Docturnal's technology, there is a lack of labs in villages and in rural India. So the ability to actually, you take the sputum, send it to the nearest lab, get the results is now no longer required. So in many ways, what you're doing is using a technology which can easily scale because of the fact that the data that you're gathering is now sent to the cloud and analysis is done on the cloud, and then immediate information is sent back. Is that also an added benefit as a result of using Docturnal in terms of not having dependency on diagnostic labs?
So it's an important benefit that we have to offer, but because in the public health system, the outreach is extremely important. So we cannot, as of today, take a molecular diagnostic test or chest X-ray to the remote India. So this is where the healthcare worker, like an Anganwadi worker or an ASHA worker, can carry doctrinal solution, which is independent of infrastructure, does not depend upon internet connectivity and so on and so forth. And that outreach to the last mile is actually practical and realistic. And the filtered subjects who've been positively screened for either pulmonary tuberculosis or COVID-19, because we do bidirectional screening, now can be sent for a confirmatory chest X-ray or a molecular diagnostic test. So that is where I emphasize on this word outreach programs, and that's what Docturnal's TimBre has to offer.
That's really really fantastic. You know, Rahul, you mentioned that you Docturnal had published and a case study slash abstract for the Union Lung Conference, right? Tell us more about that.
The International Union Lung Conference was held in Hyderabad in the year 2019, uh, and followed by 2020 again in Spain, which was held remotely because of the pandemic. So we were fortunate to get that recognition by union stakeholders, and we were able to present our abstract paper when our clinical trials was in progress. And by the time we completed, by the time Union 2020 happened, we were ready with our clinical trial results. And also, we were able to share some numbers around COVID-19 pilot studies that we started in the year 2020. So that Union platform was a very good pedestal for us to become more visible in the public health space.
There were some, findings in terms of accuracy. You know, it'd be great to understand, how Docturnal and TimBre's solution fared in terms of accuracy, in terms from traditional methods versus, the cough-based methods that Docturnal uses.
Sure. So we have conducted an independent third-party clinical validation. It was a double-blinded, multi-site clinical trial. So the true positive was to the tune of 83%, and true negative was to the tune of 92% when compared with gold standards such as Gene Expert. And in some cases, it was also compared with chest X-ray, though it was blinded to us. And also, most recently, we received a Millennium Alliance grant under the auspices of FICI and USAID, and we leveraged those funds to conduct a clinical trial for COVID-19. And our early preclinical validation results were very promising, with the true positive at 92% and true negative at 96%. And across the board, the prevalence was different. However, the as far as the accuracy is concerned, the numbers were very promising for both pulmonary tuberculosis as well as uh, COVID-19, and that is now forming a foundation for us to roll out TimBre in the public health space.
Wow, this is really fantastic, Rahul. Rahul, you've just come on board Project Amplify, a joint program with Microsoft Research and Accenture. How do you plan to leverage the program for Docturnal?
Sure. This we were really looking forward to it, and it's a great opportunity for us to have the both Microsoft and Accenture as part of Project Amplify. We are looking forward to collaborate with Microsoft Research, because up until now our focus was on clinical validation, but when it comes to the user experience, it's an important aspect, be it Anganwadi workers or pulmonologists or physicians using our app and also the connected hardware. And that's where we want to leverage. And on top of that, obviously the cloud services that Microsoft has to offer and the various partnerships that we can strike by way of this program. And when it comes to Accenture, we recently also had an opportunity to understand that Forrester recently recognized Accenture as number one player in the AI space in the service as a service provider that also partners where they co-invest and all of that stuff. So being an AI and ML company, we definitely want to leverage best of the both worlds, which is Microsoft as well as Accenture as a part of Project Amplify.
Great. We're definitely here to help you. I think what Docturnal has developed is absolutely phenomenal. My last question to you, Rahul, is that, you have worked with about 7,000 to 10,000, patients, but really this could be spread not just here in India to lakhs and lakhs of patients, but, taken globally. Where do you see the journey for Docturnal over the next few years?
With respect to pulmonary tuberculosis, the timing is great because WHO said India should eliminate and eradicate TB by 2030, but then Ministry of Health set the bar high to 2025. So now that we have visibility from the union lung stakeholders as well as UNAID and WHO, we definitely want to look at solving the problem locally in India, but at the same time, keep our doors open to roll it out to other high burden countries such as China, Africa, Brazil, and so on. So that's our plan. And most importantly, given the pandemic, we don't want subjects to cough multiple times. We will facilitate bidirectional screening, wherein you cough once, and we're gonna predict whether it is a COVID signature or a tuberculosis signature. That's our long-term plan and goal.
Wow, fantastic. Rahul, we are so proud to have you as a part of Project Amplify. We look forward to helping you and Docturnal in your journey in terms of scaling, not just here in India, but globally. And good luck with all your endeavors, and we're here to support you.
Thank you so much, Lathika Pai, for the opportunity.
Great, thanks. Cheers.